And I'm grateful to be here with all of you today. And I won't talk a whole lot because I really would love to hear more from you, but I just want to congratulate you on the success. I know it's been an incredibly challenging year. And I think, your businesses are the lifeblood of our communities. And it's a key part of what makes Michigan a great place to live, a great place to visit. And this 2020 is unlike anything any of us could have ever imagined. We never would have wanted to in our wildest dreams. And yet we're in a situation where we have to be nimble and address the crisis we're confronting, but try to help one another get through it. And so I am just glad to be here with all of you, and most interested in kind of hearing about your experience, your things that are on your mind as we're navigating a particularly important part of the season, but also a tough part of our COVID experience. And want you to know that the MEDC and the state of Michigan, and we are all working incredibly hard to make sure you've got the kind of supports you need to get through this tough time. So with that, Mark, I'll stop talking. I don't know how you want to conduct this, but this resilience fund is something that's really important, and I'm eager to hear about how people are doing.
Yeah, thank you, Governor. We can actually just kind of jump right in. I think it would be helpful for everybody to just kind of introduce themselves, obviously, talk a little bit, and then we can actually run through some broader questions. But I think first we'll go to Carolyn to kick us off, as obviously from Michigan Women Forward. So Carolyn, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Governor, thank you so much for inviting us to meet with you today. We can tell how much it's in your face, and it's in the tone of your voice. We know how much you care about companies like these. And we appreciate you for all you are doing to keep our state healthy and to keep our businesses thriving. For the last 6 years, Michigan Women Forward has been on the front lines trying to help micro enterprises. We provide them with capital, we invest in them, but we do much more than that. We wrap our virtual arms around them every single day to help them be as successful as they possibly can be. And one of the things we try to tell them is 2020 was a year that put all of us to the test. In March of this year, 90% of the businesses that we had invested in over the last 6 years were closed. I reached out to my colleagues at MEDC, asked if they would help us. And with the help of the MEDC, with Mark and his team, we sprang into action. We set about raising a fund so that small businesses like these could survive, so that they could reopen in the summer, and so that they could stay afloat. With MEDC's commitment, we actually went out and double what MEDC committed. We ask our funders, we ask our supporters like the New Economy Initiative, corporations like Consumers Energy, nearly all of Michigan's banks contributed, General Motors, the Ford Fund, and even the SBA. So this was a national, state, and a local effort. They came together, and we put together $1.5 million to fund over 300 businesses so that they could reopen this summer. We called this fund the Michigan Entrepreneur Resilience Fund because we know, just as you do, that if there is one thing that describes Michigan, it's resilient. But I want you to hear from them, not me. You hear it firsthand from the people who are going through this. So thank you again for having us.
Thanks, Carolyn.
So let's, Dionne, you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, I'm Dionne Owad. I'm born and raised in Grand Rapids, and met my husband, who's an immigrant from Lebanon, and he came in 1989 to the United States. We met and married, and he came as a chef. And so I was a graduate of Aquinas College in Grand Rapids with a business administration degree and focused in marketing, and knew I wanted to own a business, had no idea it was going to be a restaurant, but it became a restaurant. We opened Osta's Lebanese Cuisine in downtown Grand Rapids as a small takeout in 1990. And then we had aspirations for a larger restaurant, a sit-down, formal, not formal, casual, dining restaurant, and we chose Gaslight Village because it reminded him of where he grew up in Beirut along the Mediterranean. So, and it's been a perfect fit. We've become family here. So we moved to Gaslight in 1993, and 27 years later, we are still here. Prior to COVID, I had never heard of the MEDC. We've always been members in the SBA, though. That has been, but we haven't needed them till this year. And thanks to Brooks Kindle and my many questions and emails, he's been an asset to me and teaching me the way to survive this pandemic. Put me in touch with the Michigan Woman Forward grant. I applied, and Carolyn, thank you. You afforded us the ability to, we paid part of our rent. Our landlord was amazing too. He was just very patient. Between that, we paid a little bit of our back rent. With the help of the Paycheck Protection Plan, we were able to bring back our kitchen staff. We did not bring back our servers because we chose not to reopen the dining room. We're doing takeout only. Couple of reasons. My husband's immunocompromised. Our rest of our kitchen staff, they take public transit. We didn't want to expose anyone more than needed to be exposed to this thing. And so we thought this was the safest way. You know, we opened, it was difficult because we ran into supply shortages, especially beef. And our perspective, imports, we couldn't get a lot of them. So anyway, we opened with a limited menu. We've got a wonderful customer base that's been supporting us for 27 years, and that's been our saving grace. And what we found we lost were those that wanted to eat dine-in. And I don't blame them. They don't want to do their own dishes. You know, they want to be served. I get it. And they have other businesses to survive. So those we didn't get back. We also lost a huge block of our business with the summer in Gaslight Village. This is when we thrive because it's a destination with Reed's Lake and so forth. And we lost that. So several conversations with our bookkeeper, and we are operating in the red this year. Understandable, many businesses are. And yeah, we're about 55% down, but you know, God willing, we'll survive as long as we stay alive. There's nothing more than important than that. So thank you, Governor. I've listened to every one of your press conferences, and I have the faith you're going to pull us through. So, and the good Lord above. So thank you all.
Thank you, Dionne. Hang in there. Give my best to your husband too, please.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you, Dionne. How about we go to, I'm just kind of looking at my screen here. Who's next? Ashley.
Hi, my name's Ashley Trumpus. I'm the founder and CEO of SignOn. SignOn is the first online immersion program in the country connecting students learning American Sign Language, ASL, with the deaf community. Over 70% of the deaf are under or unemployed. We hire the deaf and pay them a living wage. By engaging the deaf in the ASL learning process, we spread awareness of deaf culture and ASL immersion. I want to thank Michigan Women Forward, the Michigan Entrepreneur Resilience Fund, MEDC, and Governor Whitmer. I especially want to thank you for being so inclusive and always having an interpreter with you during your briefings. I am so proud to call you my governor and truly believe you're handling yourself with grace and dignity during these crazy times. Thank you. In 2016, SignOn started as a platform for individuals studying and learning ASL to connect live with the deaf community online. This pandemic has been extremely difficult and isolating for all of us, and even more isolating for deaf children. 3 out of every 1,000 children are born deaf, and 90% of those deaf children are born to hearing parents. Here's where SignOn comes in. Less than 25% of hearing families with deaf children learn ASL. Deaf children who typically get most of their communication at school are now even more isolated with no language and no friends. SignOn solved this problem with the new program, our pivot, called Friends Like Me. Michigan Women Forward and the Michigan Resilience Fund enabled us to pivot and create a program for deaf children to meet with other deaf children under the guidance of our deaf mentors. Total inclusion of all deaf children is our mission. This is a great opportunity for deaf children to connect with other children like them on a weekly basis to improve their social skills, make new friends by participating in conversations, playing games, having book talks, and engaging in fun activities together. Since beginning this new program, our pivot, we've been flooded with tear-jerking testimonials from families. And now more families, teachers, and school districts are seeking us out. Thank you for helping us make a difference.
Nice.
That's awesome, Ashley. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. How about now we go to Mai?
Hi, everyone. And hi, Governor Whitmer. I'm Mai Zong, and we actually met at Lori Bardwell's campaign event last month. I don't know if you remember. A little bit about me. I was born in a refugee camp in Thailand. And in 1987, when I was 3 years old, that was when my family and I were sponsored to come to the US. So I grew up in Ohio, and I moved to Warren in 2003 after I graduated high school. I consider myself very fortunate because I was the first in my family to have a full public school education experience, and one of the first to graduate from college. And so I have my BFA in graphic design from the College for Creative Studies. And after I graduated, I had my daughter, and then I had my son. So I now have 4 children, and my daughter's 8 years old. It was very hard after my second son to find a full-time job that was flexible with childcare, and daycare was just so expensive. And so I actually decided to stay home and work from home so that I could be with my children. And so I worked as a web developer, a web designer, building websites. And then I started my own e-commerce website last 2017, 2 years ago, which turned into a clothing store where I design all of the clothing that is inspired by my cultural Hmong heritage with like a modern twist. So last year we decided to open up our storefront here in Warren at 12 Mile because it's close by our home, so that and our kids' school. So we were doing very well. We were very busy because, you know, I had people coming over every day to try on clothes at my house. And so now we had a space where people could come and try on the clothes and see it in person. And so we use it as sort of like a fulfillment center because we have customers all over the country, and as a showroom. And when we closed in March, oh, can you wash your hands? When we closed in March, I didn't know what to do. So I actually went back to the store, grabbed my sewing machine and all the fabric that I had, and I started sewing face masks. So that's sort of how we've been getting by, is making custom face masks on our, you know, especially designed fabric. And I want to thank the Michigan Women Forward and EDC and SBA for giving us the grant, and also the micro loan, because we couldn't qualify for the PPP because I don't have employees that are W-2. I had contractors working with me. And since early this year, I haven't been paying myself, so I had no payroll. So the funding has been going towards 2 staff, one to help man the store. We're open partially now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and to do fulfillment. And then we have another one that helps with the technical support of the website. And so I have unfortunately not been able to pay myself, but we're just getting by, you know, every day. And I'm just grateful that I had that opportunity to apply for the grant, because the process, it was very easy, and you guys did a great job walking us through the process and making sure we knew how to apply and fill out that application, and that helped me so much, because sometimes when you have these opportunities, you don't know where to start, and the paperwork is just overwhelming because we're just too busy running a business that we don't have time to do all the accounting. And so I just want to thank you guys for giving us that chance to fill out and go through the process and make it as easy as possible. So thank you for that.
Mai, you're amazing. All the different balls that you have in the air, and the hilarious little child didn't even take you. You didn't miss a single beat. That was impressive. And I think you gave me a beautiful pink face mask, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorites. So I'm glad to see you. Thank you for sharing kind of your experience with us. Really appreciate it, and want you to be outrageously successful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mai. Danielle, you want to go next, please?
Hi, my name is Danielle Bradfield, and I'm the owner of Hey Sugar. We make gourmet cotton candy, and we use organic cane sugar and natural flavors and colors, and we make it in flavors like salty caramel and sweet champagne, and all different ones you wouldn't expect. I was a stay-at-home mom for about 10 years. I worked for a nonprofit, a local homeless shelter, and I quit my job when my daughter was, my second daughter was born. So I've raised 5 girls. They're 11 and under. And my husband works as a retail manager. So he's very busy right now, and this year's been very busy for him. But we really wanted to do something more, and I wanted to do something more. And so I had this crazy idea to start a cotton candy business. And so we started in 2018 and gained a lot of traction. And so we were just self-funded, doing what we can, going to all kinds of markets. We're pretty much events only, pop-up markets only. And when COVID-19 hit, we really had just been connected with Michigan Women Forward that February. And we're just ready for 2020 to be like our best year ever. And then COVID hit, and we weren't sure what to do. And so, you know, my husband provides for us. I had been staying home for years. So we were like, that's something we could do. But, you know, we really didn't want to give up on this dream in our business we've been working so hard for. And so we applied for the grant and received it. And we were able to pivot our business from a pop-up events-based business into a brick and mortar. And so we opened that in June. And one thing I really didn't expect was how wonderful it was during a pandemic. People just loved getting a cotton candy cone or getting some cotton candy. It's so nostalgic. And I just think it's something that people needed to feel happy. And it makes you feel kind of like a kid again. And so anyways, we opened in June. And we're getting by. The summer was really busy. Not only is it a brick and mortar for us, but it's also our production facility, which we did not have before. So we would not have been able to do that at all without Michigan Women Forward and the grant. And we're just open a couple of days a week right now to try and keep people as safe as possible. But we're just so grateful to be open and to be able to have our business surviving.
That's great. I look forward to visiting you sometime when I'm in Muskegon. I think what a clever, unique idea. And certainly I can attest that in these challenging times, anything nostalgic or that has sugar is comforting. So
yeah, for sure. For sure.
So pleased. And 5 daughters. Wow. I mean, you and Mai, I mean, Dionne, Ashley, you're Wonder Women too. It's just really,
I'm
awesome.
pregnant right now. So I'm going to become a mom.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
You know, there's been so many challenges in 2020, and yet there are some wonderful stories that I'm getting to hear, and you're inspiring me. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you
Carolyn,
very
you've
much.
been doing some amazing work. You and MEDC, I think it's really exciting. And, you know, I often think about different jobs that where you get to see the, you know, what's going on and on the ground and get inspiration. And what an amazing opportunity to hear from you four. And I know how there's a lot of unknowns as we're navigating the next couple of months. It's gonna, we know it's gonna be hard, but we're gonna come out of this. And we want to make sure that you've got the support to be successful all the way through. So thank you for making time for me today.